What's up, MMA fans? So Fabricio Werdum has come out with a statement that he thinks that USADA testing is at this point too strict and that it is more strict than Olympic drug testing. I do have some comments I want to make about this, as always. Number one, I have to agree with the fact that USADA testing seems very strict, but I think it's a good thing. And the reason I say this is because this is the most physical sport that you can get. There's no other sport that is more physical in terms of what you can do to your opponent in a combat setting, where you can hit them on the ground, you can hit them standing up, you can kick them, you can knee them, you can take them down, you can slam them. So for drug testing to be even more strict than Olympic drug testing, I take my hat off to the people who conduct this type of testing, and I take my hat off to USADA for making this a cleaner sport. I do not believe it is good for an athlete to be cheating, because that basically means that whenever an athlete is cheating in this sport, they are basically making themselves more dangerous and being able to do more harm to another athlete. If an athlete takes steroids and it makes them hit 3 times harder, that just makes them more dangerous, and that just gives them an ability to do more permanent damage to another athlete. If you take a fighter on steroids and they can move 3 times faster, that just makes it even more dangerous as well. So an athlete generally on performance enhancing drugs can hit harder, move faster, and have more endurance. And what does this mean for the clean fighters? Well, it just makes it a very, very dangerous sport for clean fighters. And the best example would have to be the Vitor Belfort example when he was on testosterone replacement therapy. Would he have landed those kicks? Would he have landed the spinning hook kick on Luke Rockhold, the head kick on Michael Bisping, and the head kick on Dan Henderson had he not been on testosterone replacement therapy? I don't know. And also, if he had not been on testosterone replacement therapy, would those kicks been as hard as they were? Would those kicks have hit those opponents with as much force as they did? I have my doubts on that. I don't think so. When you look at how much of a difference taking testosterone or taking any type of performance enhancing drug has made on an athlete. So I am in full support of USADA being strict, but not to the point where it's interfering with a fighter's quality of life, or when it's constantly interfering with a fighter's sleeping patterns. I do not agree with that part, and I think that there should be a balance where if these USADA testing representatives are waking up fighters while they're sleeping or interrupting their family time, I think that is a pretty negative thing to do. I would not be in support of that. But I am in support of USADA being there during their training, like after their training, after they wake up, and those types of things, because although I'm not an athlete myself, I could imagine I do not want people waking me up while I'm sleeping, especially if it's happening multiple days. That is a real easy way to become annoying, and also a real way to lose support. But that is the positive point I see with USADA testing. It is helping out the natural fighters with their safety and also with their purses, because also you have to take into consideration when a natural fighter loses to a performance enhanced fighter, this natural fighter is also losing half a paycheck of a possible win. So instead of taking $20,000 home, which would make $40,000 including the win, they're taking $20,000, and they could have ended up with a concussion because the guy they fought was taking steroids and they got knocked out by this steroid beast. So the cons that I see within USADA being too strict is that many fights are being canceled, many fights are also being ruled no contests. I believe that in certain cases that's not a good idea, especially if a fighter is taking prohibited substances in small amounts. I'm not a scientist and I haven't done all the research into this category, but what I do want to say is that if a fighter has been taking certain banned substances but in very, very small amounts, I do believe that if the commission or if USADA can determine that the small amounts would not make much of a difference in the fight, I think the fight should just go ahead. But that's just my opinion. I am all for USADA being as strict as it is, as long as they're not becoming annoying and as long as they're not interrupting fighters during their sleep or during their family time. So those are just my opinions. Please leave your own and please like and subscribe. Thank you.